Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over some severe weather which is going to be going on over the next 4 or 5 days, and this is going to be a widespread event. It's going to start off in the central plains and eventually make its way to the east coast with a bunch of storms. Again, it's going to be all the way from about the Rockies and plains all the way to the Atlantic coast. So we're going to be going over all the information you need to know and more in today's video, so make sure you are staying tuned all the way until the end. Here's what the current National Weather Service page looks like. As you can see, we have some excessive heat warnings in parts of the southwest, as well as some red flag warnings in parts of the Rockies as well. We have some heat advisories scattered throughout the western United States as well. And then we have heat advisories also for a little bit of Missouri and Illinois, with some more flash flood watches in effect for parts of Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, and also for parts of Louisiana as well. And then we have another area for parts of Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia, where we have some flash flood watches currently in place. Yesterday we had a high temperature of 124 degrees in Death Valley, California, with a low temperature 13 miles west-southwest of McKay, Idaho, where they got down to 23 degrees Fahrenheit. The highest rainfall report was in Brownsville, Minnesota, which is right on the border with Wisconsin, where they got 4.08 inches of rainfall, and there were no snowfall reports as of yesterday. So, taking a look at what the Storm Prediction Center page looks like, we're going to go through the day 1, day 2, and day 3 outlooks. You can see that we have a broad area of slight risk for today, which is just kind of a stripe which goes from Colorado and Nebraska all the way into Indiana, with another pocket through parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. That would be your day 1 outlook for today. If we look at the day 2 outlook for tomorrow, you can see that we have that slight risk which is now into parts of the Great Lakes and the Central Plains as well. So it goes from parts of Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa all the way to areas in Ohio and Michigan for tomorrow. And then if we look at the day 3 outlook, and this is as far as the Storm Prediction Center's storm outlooks go out to, you can see that we have a slight risk in effect for parts of the interior, northeast, and the Ohio Valley. So from parts of West Virginia and Ohio all the way up into northern New York, we have some of that slight risk in that area. And I would not be surprised if we were to see that slight risk also get extended into an area in the southeast and the southern plains, or if we were to see this marginal risk get pushed down, probably on that day 4 outlook for tomorrow. So we'll have to see. The Storm Prediction Center definitely still has a few revisions to do with this forecast, and as we got closer to the actual event, we're probably going to get a lot more detail, and they will probably put up maybe a couple enhanced risks, and likely they will expand that slight risk just based on what I'm seeing on the models right now. So to time this out for you guys, this would be by tomorrow evening. You can see that we have a low pressure in parts of northern Illinois. This is going to start off the first chain of a series of events that's going to be taking place, especially over the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and the Central Plains. It's going to start out there, where we're going to see kind of a line of storms develop over a broad area, and that's just going to continue to pummel away and move further to the east. And as it does that, it's of course going to bring that storm risk with that as well. So you can see that we have a fairly robust line of storms heading into this area by Sunday night, but again, this is still not the biggest part of this event. So you can see we still have some of these storms fairly isolated. It is starting to kind of spread out a little bit, so now we have somewhat of a developed line from Missouri all the way into Indiana and Ohio. So we are starting to see our first semblance of this line forming. This line will actually break apart, and we're going to see another line that's going to get stronger form right behind it. So this first line breaks apart, and you're starting to see our next line start to develop right in here. So if we play this out a little bit more, you can see that line continues to break apart. It doesn't look too strong by this point, and then we start to go into the lower resolution models just because it has to go a little bit further out. But you're going to start to see this line develop right behind the original path of those storms. So you can see that we have this line starting to develop a little bit more. This would be by Monday in the early afternoon. It's now starting to connect up. So now we have a line that goes from Oklahoma and Kansas all the way into southeastern Canada. So it's a fairly wide line and we do have a few embedded thunderstorms here and there, but again, it doesn't look too major at this point, just a big rainmaker. As we head it to Monday evening, we're now going to start to see these storms really start to pop off in parts of the southern and central plains, as well as the Tennessee Valley. So you can see we do have a rather long area of severe weather, which is going again from parts of Ohio and Kentucky all the way into Oklahoma with the bulk of that severe weather. If we play this out a little bit more, you can see that those storms do head further to the south, and you are starting to see a few clusters of fairly well-developed storms in parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, even into parts of Tennessee and Kentucky as well. So it does look fairly robust by this point. That line heads further to the south, and we are going to start to see maybe a little bit more storminess on the northern end start to develop. There is maybe a pocket of storms where we probably won't see any activity, and that would be in the mid-Atlantic area. Other than that, pretty much anywhere east of the Rockies should be impacted at one point or another with this big system. You can see that pulls away to the southeast. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a warm front develop on the northern end. So we have a warm front developing somewhere right in here. We have that cold front which is lingering to the south, so your warm sector would be anywhere that is within that is to the south of that warm front. So anywhere within here is where your warm sector is, and that's mainly where most of your storms are going to develop, within that area east of the cold front and to the south of the warm front. So that's generally how this is playing out here. And then if we move this on a little bit more, you're going to see that those storms do head to the east. Unfortunately, the model does not go far enough out, so we don't actually end up seeing what exactly transpires after that. I would assume that these would just continue to head further to the east. We get a few storms for Tuesday night into parts of the East Coast, and then, of course, it goes and it dries down because we have high pressure on the back end of this that should help kind of alleviate some of the warmer that warmer pattern that we in and that we were in, and also that should also help to dry it out a little bit, because we have been in quite an active pattern, so drying it out for at least a few days is definitely much needed. Here would be the total rainfall over the next about 2 to 3 days. So this is going through Tuesday morning. And you can see in the southeast, especially, where we have now named Tropical Storm Claudette. So they did actually upgrade this last night into Tropical Storm Claudette. So that is all that rainfall that you see in the southeast. Some of that is from that system, but the bulk of this is from these upcoming storms that we're talking about in today's video. So you can see that we're expecting over a broad area about 1/2 inch to 2 inches, depending on if you get hit with these individual storms. And of course, once we get some of these some of these higher resolution models in, we'll have a much better idea of what actually is expected, just because they'll give us kind of a better idea in a higher resolution idea of what may happen. If we look at the CAPE values, the amount of energy in the atmosphere at any given point, you can see that for Monday morning into Sunday night, we have high amounts, especially through the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley, where the storms will be taking place. So definitely ample amounts of CAPE for that area. Then by Monday, and I'll actually go back, then by Monday you can see that we have some relatively high amounts, pretty much anywhere from the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley eastward, where we have CAPE values pretty much all above 500, or in many areas above 1,000. So that's definitely enough to support some of these thunderstorms. And then if we look at for Tuesday, mainly just along the East Coast with the high CAPE values, but still we could be dealing with a bit of severe weather in these areas. We'll have to see how much the marine layer is going to impact that, and whether these storms will actually break apart before they head to the coast. If we look at the high temperatures, these will also be very, very favorable. So you can see we have temperatures that are expected to be above 85 over this entire area for Sunday night into Monday. If we look at for Monday into Tuesday, we have high temperatures that, especially over the areas from the Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley eastward, are expected to be all above 85, and many areas are even getting up near 90 or 95 degrees. And then if we look at for Tuesday, mainly just just along the east coast with these warmer temperatures. You can see the colder temperatures out further to the west into the Great Lakes, where we have high temperatures only getting up into the 50s and 60s. But still, along the east coast where those storms would be, we're dealing with temperatures that are getting up near 85 to 90 degrees. And if we look at the dew points over the eastern United States, pretty much this entire area for Monday morning into Monday morning, Monday early in the morning, and also Sunday night, we have some very high dew points in these areas, even getting up near 70 or even 71 in a couple of these spots. So these are really high or fairly high for these areas. And then if you look at for Monday night, we have some of these dew points still getting up into the upper 60s and even low to mid 70s as well. So these are fairly high and definitely enough to support some of these thunderstorms. And then if we look at for Tuesday, again, along the east coast is where the highest dew points are going to be, and pretty much this entire area from New England all the way down to the Gulf Coast has dew points that are getting up near 70, 71, even 72, and as you get further to the south, even approaching 73 or 74. So we have a relatively favorable atmosphere and pattern in place for this event. I'll keep you updated on these storms and just give you generally all the information you need to know in the next couple of videos. So again, I will probably have at least 1 or 2 more videos on this event. That is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.